Let's get this show going, man.
Welcome to the Bleeding Burgundy podcast, a Washington Commanders podcast for fans by fans, with your hosts, Jessy Martin.
Because 90% of them are wrong. They're fucking wrong.
Max Taman.
You've got a plate of shit and you've got a bowl of shit. They're the same thing.
Scott Hartley.
Yeah, thanks for having me on. Yeah.
John Taman.
What the hell was I talking about?
I just don't get it. I don't get it.
And now, the world's worst podcast host, John Taman.
Hey everybody, I am the world's worst podcast host, and I'm writing down a note just as the theme is finishing right at the last second, of course. So anyway, hey man, it's May. What else do you want me to do? There's nothing to talk about, really. We're going to figure out a way to kill a whole hour here. With that, I think I've killed all of about, I don't know, 30 or 40 seconds at least. And Jesse's gone black again. What is he doing? Is he eating still?
Probably.
All right, he's probably eating. Well, I'll tell you what. We're going to go ahead. As you can see, Scott's gone ahead and gotten the plastic surgery that they promised him as being the International Fan of the Year.
I think too. Look at him going.
Yeah, look at him. He's gotten his pecs all worked out and everything. Now, that's, of course, Tony Wheat. He's a great fella, and he is here. Scott is the International Fan of the Year. And as part of his duties, he's had to go meet the Pope. So, you know, he's got to represent for the Bleeding Burgundy podcast.
Popa Americana.
What's that?
Popa Americana.
Popa Americana. All right. Anyway, I'm not going to make any more Pope jokes. But, hey, Tony, welcome to the show.
Thanks, John. Thanks, guys. Try my best to stand in for Scotty.
Oh, yeah. You know, it's really not that hard.
This does break the streak of his guest appearances on the Bleeding Burgundy podcast. We're going to have to start over next time.
It does.
Yeah.
He came on the show from freaking Canary Islands one time, I think was. From Turkey, he came on the show while he was getting his hair plugs and his new teeth. So that's all right. And, of course, down below, my good friend Max, my son Max, who just graduated college this week with a bachelor's of science degree in cybersecurity.
Yes.
Yeah.
This past Friday, Pops and I took a little road trip up the road, and I got to walk across the stage.
Isn't that awesome? I thought they did a really good job with that. You know, to be honest, I thought I was going to have to sit in an auditorium there and and hold my farts in for 2 hours.
In and out for 25 minutes.
Hell yeah, that's the way to do it, man. In and out. Take your damn piece of paper and get lost.
So.
All right, well, that's kind of what we did. So Jesse, who is still over there eating his snack, and of course, we're not being paid by the Pepsi Corporation, so we're not going to show their bottle while Jesse's having his snack. But we will play him in anyway. My good friend from Southeast Virginia, Jessy Martin. There he is. There he is. All right, somebody turn the spotlight on that guy. Jesse, you're looking rather dark today. You're feeling kind of gloomy.
Oh, yeah.
Well, okay.
This has disappeared entirely.
Tell you what, yeah, you're completely gone. So It's like you shut off your camera or something. You're completely dark over there. Ladies and gentlemen, the world's worst podcast host is doing his best to make this show work, even though none of us are prepared. No, you are. You're completely black. I'm not the only one that sees that, right?
No. Okay.
Yeah.
Mine, like, it switches between everybody. Like, it goes dark. I think this stream is not good at all. We're having difficult with this stream.
Jesse, even if you look
StreamYard
at our live, like our live, you're in the dark.
Yeah, you're in the dark. It's completely black.
Huh. That's weird.
I wonder
No,
what's
everything's on. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
We can hear you, not see you.
Back out, come back in, see if it fixes it.
Well, to be quite honest, we've seen you before. We're really not missing anything. We've seen you driving your truck. We've looked up your nose while we've had you drive home from the stadium after you left just before a big play.
You left your parents' house before the Hail Mary.
That's right. We got to talk to you in the truck as you were driving home. What happened? All right. So Tony actually came on the show thinking he was going to talk about football. Look at him down there. He's all bewildered. What the hell is this?
I can't believe he left the house before the Hail Mary. That's horrendous.
Oh, dude.
Tony, if you go back and just find that.
Have you just met this guy?
Look, the two of us had to break the news to him live on the air. So
yeah, Jesse is he is famous for, as soon as we call fair catch on the opening kickoff, that's it. We're done. I'm out of here.
I'm out of here.
Yeah.
Eternal pessimist.
Oh my God. But except for last year, he was the eternal optimist. For whatever reason, his camera still isn't working. It's still going to be black and dark. There it is. Now it's spinning again.
So,
boy, I tell you.
Anyway, you see what? Oh, there he is. Huh.
Hey,
I still don't see him.
I can see him now.
Nope, not me. That's all right. I know what you look like. So anyway, how's things going with you, dude? Other than your camera being fluky.
Oh, we're trying to Jessy.
Yeah, we're
again.
He's
all right.
Oh my God. All right, so for you people that are watching right now, welcome to the freaking show. Anyway, we're going to talk about the Commanders' schedule coming up here and seeing how that's going to look in front of us. We're going to talk about the Commanders in terms of fantasy football, how we like how they're going to look right there. We got a few emails that we want to read. We've got some other stuff to talk about. This is the general bullshit session of the show. We do have a brand new website. And Tony, since you're brand new to us here, well, actually, I think this is the second time you've been on with us. But give us some general bullshit, man. What's up?
Oh, what's up? Well, it's nice to be on here. I mean, I can bullshit you for a good couple of hours. I mean, do you want to be a bit more specific or just?
No, that's fine. Just what's up is fine. I'll tell you what. This is the general bullshit session of the show, and frankly, the fact that you didn't realize that kind of hurts me, but that's okay. There he is. Fantastic. So we've just been putting Tony on the spot here. Anyway. Yeah. Do you have any general bullshit to talk about, Jesse? Now that the thing.
No, I go buy a new setup, and for some reason, iPads are not. It doesn't work. StreamYard won't fucking work on my iPad.
iPad is made by Apple, so I wonder if that makes it any different.
I don't know.
No,
but yeah, y'all just kept cutting in and out. I mean, beforehand it was fine, but once we started streaming, it was shit.
Now, I don't know about you, Max, but I really don't. But Tony, I like a little bit of the old in and out, don't you?
A little bit of the old.
Yeah, the old in and out. All right.
Well, every now and again.
Every now and again. It's something to pass the time. All right, so it's May. There's absolutely nothing going on in the NFL.
Well,
two
things. The schedule came out. The schedule came out.
3 things happened. That happened.
Yeah.
Today,
I can give you some bullshit on that, John, in a minute.
Yes, we will have some bullshit about that.
The NFL approved the use of players in the 2028 Olympics because they're having flag football.
Yeah, I saw that.
Jesus.
So conditions.
I tell you what, let one of them tear up his knee. Let one of them get a fucking ankle sprain.
That was the first thing that came to my mind when I saw that. I was like, what's going to happen when someone gets a fucking out for the season? Because I think the season, I think they were saying like it's in July and the championships games like right before training camp opens or something like that.
Yes.
Yeah, it's actually in the quiet period between kind of like mini camps and training camp, but at the same time they're going to have to devote a lot of time to actually getting used to playing flag football. And one of the things that Mike Florio picked up on was the fact that one of the conditions attached to it, or one of the stipulations, is there's like a minimum standard of fields, which is ironic. They said it's ironic that the NFL is asking for that, given that the players' union have been asking for better quality fields and get rid of turf.
Right.
So he said the NFLPA might have a little bit something to say about that.
I'd be interested to see what the NFLPA would say, since they seem to roll over for just about anything. We're talking about an 18-game season. We're going to play games on Mars. So, the NFLPA, when is the next time that they're going to have a negotiation? When's the next time that the CBA comes up? Nobody's prepared for that.
It's a few years yet, isn't it? I think.
Yeah, I think so. I think they just did it like
last one was 2 or 3 years ago.
Yeah, something like that. So, we'll see how Roger goes as he's expanding the league all over the globe. We'll see how that all works out. They keep asking for more and more and more, but they're not giving much in terms of what we've all thought about, which is, of course, roster expansions for one, 2 bye weeks for another, which honestly, they've got to do them. We already came up with the answer. You have 1 big bye week. You have a gigantic fucking concert, big goddamn country concert. What was it we said we should have over there? And then you have the second bye week, and then you have the freaking Daytona 500 with the Super Bowl in the middle of it. Oh, you have a big wrestling event on 1 bye week, and everybody mixes together.
But this idea that players can only play 16 out of the 18 games I've seen bandied around. I mean, how's that gonna work?
And honestly, what happens if I'm spending $400 on my ticket to go and they say, you know what, Patrick Mahomes doesn't play this week?
Exactly.
He's forced to sit down. Right.
It's the same thing about the NBA with the load management.
Yeah.
It's fucking no. You know what? I saw some other things this week. Mike Greenberg, who has officially entered the halls of idiot at fucking Hall of Fame with, we should have the NFL do a draft lottery like the fucking NBA does, which would absolutely be the most ridiculous thing. What the hell is he doing now? It would be the stupidest thing I've ever seen if they tried to do this. The NFL works. I don't know how it is more that you can see how well it works. I mean, it might not be perfect, but in terms of how the other sports leagues do their business, they're clear and far and away the better thing. And it's not the NBA. It's not the NBA is because one player can change everything. And even though I'm a fan of the Commanders who just had one player change everything, it's different. Max, do you agree?
Mostly. I think with the NBA specifically, the draft lottery is made so that it doesn't help tanking. And then in NFL, you don't tank. You can't tank or else you lose everything.
That's right. Tony, you think they tank in the NFL?
I think the NFL's got it just about right. I think there's certain things that they're going to keep tweaking, like, they're looking at the playoff seedings and whether they're going to, change those as well. But by and large, I think, it's inevitable. It's ultimately money driven. So they're going to look to expand 16. Well, which has gone from 16 to 17 to it's going to be 18 inevitably now. Yeah. Player welfare. They talk about player welfare, but do they really care about players? Not really. So
they're paying them enough.
Yeah.
Do you think 18 games could open the door to expansion in terms of league expansion?
Of course, they're going to try to expand a team into Europe, whether it's 2 teams and expand the league. But honestly, sorry, Jesse, you have yet to have anything to say about this here topic. What do you got to think about all of this?
No, when it comes to like the expansion and stuff like that, I absolutely think their ultimate goal is to have a whole division in Europe at some point in time. And I'm talking about 20 years down the road.
Yeah, the NFC
eventually that's going to happen. Now, whether, maybe it's a 4-team and 2 of them are AFC or NFC. I don't know. We talked about this on the bunker last week. And I think that's why they're opening up to so many different damn places. I mean, you could have 2 teams in England, a team in Germany, a team possibly in Spain or even Mexico or something like that. But they're even having the Vikings that are going back-to-back games over there to see how road teams will fare coming back. So I think the ultimate goal is to have multiple teams out there.
No,
see if
they can't expand
the league. Sorry, go ahead, Tony.
No, I don't think it is. I think a few years ago they were looking into the possibility of a team or a couple of teams, and I think they've discovered, I think in all the background work and everything they've done around logistics, travel, tax, you name it, that they've realised that a team or a league or a division won't work, which is why Goodell's come out again, I think today, and said that they're looking at next year or within the next 5 years having up to 16 international games. I think they realise it's much better and I think this Vikings thing that Jesse's mentioned is actually still relevant because they're looking at whether they can move a team from one European city to the next. So I personally don't think there'll ever be a European division or even one single team in Europe. I don't think it will happen.
Well, how long until we actually have a space plane that can get us to Europe in 2 hours, 3 hours? It's dead serious, right? That changes the whole thing. And I mean, how far off is that in terms of technology?
We had that with Concorde.
But we've had
3 hours.
Yeah.
We've had 32 teams in the league for 23 years now when the Texans joined in 2002.
Right.
Do you think it could go to 34 or 36?
Look, they can't even get it. Okay, let's look at it basic, just mathematically and practically. There are how many quarterbacks in the NFL at any given time? You want to say 80, right? All third stringers. If they
don't see, it's not about good quarterbacks. It's about money.
It's not even. Well,
bad teams still bring in money.
Yeah, but you're going to exponentially increase the badness.
You're right, but in a span of 7 years, from 95 to 2002, they added 4 teams to the league.
Okay, and look at it. All right, like I said, 80 quarterbacks are signed in any given year to play or at least be on a roster. Of those 80 quarterbacks, 15 of them can play it to a minimal level, maybe 20 at a minimal level. And of that, 5 or 6 can really fucking play it. Yeah, other than that, so you're going to add teams, and who's going to be fucking starting at quarterback? Scott.
The backup quarterbacks are just going to get spread around. It's going to diversify it's going to diversify parity because all of the players are now going to have another place to go.
Because everybody's going to suck. My God, you're going to move these guys around. You're going to have Taylor Heineke starting in some place.
It's money. Hey, he started here for 2 years.
He started here for a whole fucking year.
And we were absolutely
everybody fucking loved. Look, everybody loved him, and he sold fucking jerseys. Listen to yourself talking to you.
Yeah, of course. I mean, I know, but you're going to kill the golden goose, man. You start watering it down too much.
I don't think you can kill the golden goose, John. That's what the whole point is about.
You're Irish. How many fucking times did you guys get told to don't keep planting your goddamn potatoes there? They're going to stop growing. And what did you do? You were the potato leader of the world. And then what happened?
You put a team in Toronto, you put a team in Memphis, you put a team in back in St. Louis. You're going to have money.
Well, I mean, there's money to these places, but dude, at some point it gets to the point where it's not so good. When you watch any of these UFL games, that's the next level of who you're going to have up. It's just not going to be good. We've already said this. By the time Thanksgiving rolls around, half the games that are on the schedule aren't even bearable. They're really awful. They're fucking bad. They're not even worth watching most of the time.
Yeah, well, I mean, you watch it
because we love the NFL, right?
People still fucking do.
You're going to add that out.
TV. Yeah. The TV figures still dwarf every other sport in America. So
I know. But I just think that there comes a point where you're going to be you're tipping it. And honestly, I thought 16 game schedule, 32 teams was the best thing they could have done. And again, I'm going to go ahead and say technology. I wasn't half joking about the space plane. Technology, who knows? We might be able to fly to Europe in 2 or 3 hours regularly without the plane catching fire, right?
Well, bumping to 18 games. Did this come about some of the rule changes that they're going to be voting on tomorrow? Because I was going in and out, and I really didn't get the
just talked about question. The flag football aspect today.
Oh, okay, I got you. Okay, yeah.
The 18 games is
voted on tomorrow. So
18 games. That's 2 years away. That's coming. That's 100%.
We already know because the Super Bowl has been pushed back to Valentine's Day weekend in 2027.
And women are going to love that.
Or 28.
The earliest they can change it, I believe, is when they can renegotiate the TV contracts because there's an opt-out in the TV deals in 29.
Tony, if you look at the Super Bowl dates for the future, I believe in 2028, it's already been pushed back a week.
Right.
So.
How many?
Yeah, I heard on the radio today that it's 2 years away.
Broken up. Okay, I mean, I agree with you. They're going to do it, and I think Tony said so. You're right; it's inevitable. They're going to do it, and 2 years seems to be about enough time for them to get everybody to swallow it.
It's actually next.
Now, question:
figure out the logistics.
This is something that through back channels. I was listening to the Kevin Sheehan show today. He was saying that there could be a possibility instead of adding an extra, an AFC game or. They were talking about to help reduce travel, playing when we go up to 18 games that we could possibly play our division opponents 3 times a piece instead of twice.
So that would just keep the same schedule formula. It would just be an additional game against the division. But then how do you determine who hosts 2 and who hosts 1?
Well, 1 year it would be, it would have to flip-flop years. Going back and forth between home and away.
The first year they end up with 3 or 4 of the starting star boy quarterbacks hurt by the time the fucking playoffs roll around is when they'll start talking about
every year.
We still end up with Patrick Mahomes and Allen and Lamar Jackson and fucking Jalen Hurts.
You're right. You're talking about still end up with the top 6 quarterbacks in the league.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
And those quarterbacks aren't going to be quarterbacking forever.
Time out. Before you fucking jump on what I'm talking about, here's what I'm saying. Let's wait. One of these seasons where they expand so much, we're going to get to the point where they're going to get to the playoffs, and none of these guys are going to be up because they're all going to be hurt.
We started Taylor Heineke in a playoff game.
I don't care.
And almost won it.
I don't care. It's not the point. It's not the fucking point. The point is, yeah, right. We started Taylor Heineke, and pretty soon we're going to be saying things like, "Oh, we started Jimbo Carr, Derek Carr's second cousin, because because somebody had to win the fucking AFC lousy shit division that they're going to add because they're going to put all these
perfect segue
in there."
Perfect segue to this this next topic, there, John.
Okay.
The change of the playoffs formula.
I don't like it.
John, you say you don't like it.
No,
Max,
I like
what do you think?
If you have a better record, host the game.
Tony, what do you think?
I'm a bit of a traditionalist. I don't really like it.
Well,
have you seen the proposal?
Tony, you're older. You're older than me, right, Tony? By like a year.
I'm 51.
Oh, by many years. Okay. All right. So the old fucks, in the corner.
No,
all right.
If you win your division, you earn a home playoff game.
No, you
earn a hold on a second.
Well,
see, this is where I disagree with. Yes, winning a division automatically gets you into the playoffs. Boom.
Yeah.
Yes. But if you're fucking goddamn 7-9, backing your way in a fucking playoff, you don't deserve a fucking home game. I'm sorry, you don't.
So in other words, what you're doing now is you're arguing what's literally going to happen in about 4 years when they expand the league and they expand all these teams. This is what's going to be normal.
I think it's going to happen this year. I think they're voting on it tomorrow. This is exactly what's going to happen. Even if you win the division, you earn a playoff. But once you get into divisions, you got a 14-2 team like the Vikings. Having to go on the road against a fucking 8-9 team that barely got in the playoffs. I'm sorry, the Vikings deserve to fucking have that home game.
Tony, go ahead. You've been trying to make a point.
What I read today was that they were saying that the reseeding would happen after the wild card game, so that the 4 divisional winners were still guaranteed a home game, but after the wild card round, they changed the seeding, so then it goes on record.
I mean, it already does that though. Like that isn't the worst record goes to the best, and then the other two go there. In order, if you're going to reseed, if you're going to change the seeds, you have to do it with all 7 teams still that already there.
Well, they showed how it would work and how the playoffs. I think this is on the Athletic. How the playoffs would have looked last year if they'd done it in this way. The AFC playoffs would have been the same. The NFC playoffs would have been different because Washington would have gone to the Rams, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
Was it? I can't remember the exact logistics, but it would have changed. It would have changed the NFC playoffs. Washington would have gone to the Eagles.
I'm looking at it right now.
Yes, you're right. Yeah, Washington would have gone to the Eagles, and the Rams would have gone to the Lions.
I think they're taking something that they think is unfair because the 14-2 Vikings had to go to the 7-9, whatever. Well,
now that I don't agree with.
The Vikings should have won. And by the way, I think last year was the first time every playoff team had over 10 wins. Is it? Well, not the first time. Maybe it was the first time, but it was everybody was over 10 wins. But still, the Vikings, dude, you're a 14-2 team. Go on the road and win. Don't fucking show up with New York Jets Sam Darnold, because that's what happened to them. Not that they went on the road. What happened is Sam Darnold of 3 years ago showed up and played.
Well, my point is, I guess I just didn't read the the actual rule change. I was under the impression that this is to stop 7-9 or 7-10 teams or 8-9 teams from getting a home game against someone that has 12 or more wins or what have you.
Correct me if I'm wrong.
That I think is,
except one that's been sub 500 won their playoff game, and we were the only ones to lose. I can think of 3 wins.
The Saints.
The Seahawks beat the Saints.
Seahawks beat the Saints. Sorry,
yeah.
The Panthers beat the Cardinals when they were 6-10.
Right. Welcome to 28-28. Well, welcome to 2029 NFL season. 6-10.
2014.
I know it is, but it's going to become the normal. I'm telling you.
But the other big repercussion, if you change it again, I think this might be the same article, was that you have to look at the way that the schedule works in terms of the divisions you play, the interconference games, because then your conference record becomes almost more important than your divisional record.
Mm-hmm.
And that you would have the article suggesting that you would have to potentially play more games against your own conference and potentially only a couple of games against the, like they would play the AFC West or whatever. You wouldn't play all 4 teams.
Well,
that's where the 18 game comes in the factor in regards. I think it should be, for us, for an example, I think the 18th game should be against the NFC team.
Right.
I don't think it should be against the AFC team.
Every team and every division is only going to play 3 different teams. Other than that, they're going to do the exact same thing.
That's why.
It's just play your division 3 times instead of only twice.
Yeah.
The difficulty is working out how because the argument is that if you get the luck of the draw one year and you happen to play like the NFC South and the AFC South in the same year, which I think was the example that's been used for this year, you're at a big advantage where compared to a team that might have to play the NFC North and the AFC North as your two divisions.
If you're playing 3 games or 3 times against your conference opponents, who gets 2 home games? Or division.
That's what Jessy was saying.
Who gets 2? So here's what you do.
That's what I was saying. They'll rotate years on that.
Or what you do is you say, okay, the third time that the Redskins play the Giants, or the Commanders play the Giants, is also on the same day that the Cowboys play the Eagles. So the Cowboys and the Eagles play in New York, and we play in Philadelphia. Right? And then the next
okay.
You go to a neutral
Christ,
field, right? So, I mean, dude, there's so many things. It just, everything is going to get so muddy, and we are going to accept bad football. Now, speaking of bad football, I'm looking over here at the videos that I have, and I can't remember what this is.
We accepted bad football for 30 fucking years, John.
I know. I'm sick of it. I want to watch good football. But this is called Gamma.
I have a question.
I don't remember what this is. I think this is from the draft. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
All right, I'm going
to put a hypothetical question to y'all. I don't want anybody answering it now, but I'll wait till John, you finish.
This is not going to be worth all of that, but okay, we'll see what Grandma is.
Is playing some role in Pittsburgh's decision as they make this pick here at 21, but we're waiting to see if this is the spot. Shedeur Sanders will finally hear his name called.
The Steelers have no second-round pick. That went to Seattle for DK Metcalf. So they're sitting here with a pick. We talked about Derek Harmon.
There you go. There's a guy's moment on TV. That's
what me watching the draft this year.
Well, I mean, yeah, but you're going to be sitting there at a first round pick's house, sleeping next to Grandma. That seems kind of rough. Also, fun at the draft was scouts, trying to find scouts. I don't know if Tony, if you played that on the.
Joel, now back to the stage.
Yeah, I saw that.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, we saw him. All right, so let's
Jessy
see.
had a hypothetical.
Jessy had a hypothetical. He doesn't want us to answer it. He's going to wait for us to come back, and that's what
I want y'all to really think about this, okay? Because this question was brought. I was on a Lake Lewis show, and he brings fans in all the time, and he's invited me to be a repeat guest every Friday. Everybody's actually welcome on it. Then he throws out a question. You have a chance to win 2 Super Bowls in a row. Okay.
Right.
And then for the next 5 years, you don't make the playoffs.
Yeah, I'll take that.
Okay. Or go with your chances as is right now.
I'll take 2.
Think about that for a minute.
I'll take
just think about that.
You go with where you are right now.
Well, dude, two Super Bowls and then 5 years off. We can go back to the Super Bowl in 6 years. 5 years, don't think about it like that.
Okay,
Jeez,
but
I'll take the 2 Super Bowls right there.
Right.
Okay.
Oh.
All right, Max, you're with the pretty much the whole entire. There was like 15 people in this question. Only 3 people picked the Super Bowl, and I could not believe that shit. I could not believe people would give up Super Bowls. Exactly.
Okay.
It's like I'm sitting there, like, because listen. My whole thing is like, if you go like it's going now, yeah, you might have the opportunity to get to a Super Bowl, maybe. as good as our year was last year, it doesn't mean we're going to be that good next year. We could go to the.
Nothing's guaranteed.
We could go to. We can be a perennial playoff, one and done. Look at the fucking Cowboys, man. Every year they would be 12, 13 fucking wins, go to the playoffs and get fucking shit canned.
Look at Buffalo.
This guarantees you back-to-back Super Bowls.
Oh my God!
And
You'd be ridiculous not to take it.
Jesse, then you have 5 years of misery.
5 years?
No,
it's not
We went
misery.
30 years with misery.
You're right. So why
5
would
years
you want
goes
to
by
do
like that, dude. You know what you do for 5 years?
Man.
You go. Let me just shine up this Lombardi.
Yeah,
Shine up that.
yeah.
other one.
You take the I think it's silly not to take. I mean, imagine the fucking
5
parades,
years.
dude. Parades.
That's great. But
I'd
then
still
you're
do
5 years of guaranteed bad football. And we were just saying we're trying to get away from bad football. So why are you going to
Sometimes that happens, man.
Does
I mean,
football
look,
get better than 2 Super Bowls in a row?
That's
Does
a
it?
trade-off.
you see the rotation. It's going to happen anyways. There's a rotation. Look at
So
the
why would you
Patriots, man.
guarantee
They went on their
yourself that rather than give yourself
they went on their dynasty run, and they haven't been shit since then. And you know what? They're trying to build it back up, but it takes time to build a team. Just like look, I will take the Kansas City Chiefs for instance. When Pat Mahomes goes, do you think they're going to fucking go to the Super Bowl with
Right
whoever
now?
their
No.
next quarterback is?
right now? No, but we don't know who that's going to be. You know, when they
That's what I'm saying. We don't know what Jaden's going to be in the future. He had a great freaking year, And I'm sorry, yeah, I'm taking the fucking Super Bowl. I'm taking two back-to-back trophies. Those are two lifetime memories that you have where you remember you're not a little kid. You know, like I was young when we went on our Super Bowl runs, but I'm going to remember every fucking thing about it. I'm going to be at the damn parade
I
2 years in a row.
But what I'm saying though is, after those 2 years, you then have 5 years where you're just going to be sitting here thinking about what could have been.
What could have been was. That's the point.
You're right.
That's the thing. You're exactly.
Right, but in year 3, when you're sitting here watching your team go 6-11 again,
So
rather you take where this team is now, and you have the hope.
No. See, here's the thing. Okay, for one, some magical genie has appeared and said, "You may have 2 back-to-back Super Bowls and 5 years of losing, or you may stay with wherever you want." And Tony and I picked and said, "We're taking this 2 Super Bowls," and Jesse picked the Super Bowls, right? In year 3,
I'd take 1 Super Bowl.
we already know that the genie gave us 2 Super Bowls. That means in 5 years, we're back off the curve.
Realistically think that the Bengals fans are sitting there saying, "Dang, I wish we had won that Super Bowl today"? No, they want to get back to one.
It doesn't matter if you
The
win.
Bengals went to a Super Bowl 3 years ago. That's what I'm saying is you want to get back to
think that
it.
they would have given them. I know you want to get back to it, and 5 years goes by so fast.
So you're going to just routinely give away 5 years.
I'd take the 1 Super Bowl. I'd
Yeah.
take the 1.
Fuck yeah!
I'd take the Super Bowl.
You're not giving away 5 years. Why? You're getting 2 Super Bowls back.
You're getting 2.
so-
And then you're getting 5 years and nothing. Why not take?
No,
the
you're not
chances?
necessarily getting nothing. You can start working on your team for the fucking year 6. You can.
But you
hold
might
your head
be
over
terrible. You might be terrible for 5 years anyway. Without
Remember
the 2 Super
this:
Bowls.
you're
right.
not trading 2 years for 5 years. That's what you're doing. You're trading 2 whole years because not only do you get the 2 Super Bowl rings, but you also get 2 amazing years of football where you watch them crush everybody. And then for 5 years,
Listen, I'm knocking on wood right now. Okay, listen, we went through this the RG3 year. Okay, wow, what a fucking season. Now, yeah, last season was better, and did every one of us thought, man, we're going to get a Super Bowl in the next couple of years. Every one of us on this panel thought that we're back. We are back. You just don't know what the future holds. So I'm taking the goddamn Super Bowl.
Take it from Twisted Jigga. He knows.
There you go.
His left
Yeah.
for 2 more Super Bowls.
I understand
Yeah.
that.
God damn
but
right.
with
You know
the-
why? Because he traded his right one for the 2 that they just got. What's up,
with the
Twiz?
trade-off
Thanks
of
for being
5
with us,
years
Bubba.
of no chance. That's too much.
All right. Yam says 100% we get 2 Super Bowls in a row. I'll suffer losing seasons for that. Like, it's only 5. 5 years is nothing.
Yeah.
It goes.
We're not talking 30 years.
No.
We've all been through the 30 years.
We had 4 years of Ron Rivera.
Okay, so think about where we were 5 years
because listen, Max, we don't know what's going to happen, man. We're not talking about like the uncertainty of what's going to happen. You know,
right.
We're not even guaranteed playoffs right now. We're not guaranteed a playoff.
Right.
I mean, our schedule's hard.
Jesse, wait a second.
To be on this shit. What the fuck they talk? You got to jump in, man. If you want, you got something to say. This is a place to snap in. So I would take it that Max, you're not going to come off of this.
No, because I think that the sheer concept of 5 years of bad is not worth 2 years of success.
Wait, 5 years of bad. Oh, it's nothing.
It's millennials, man.
2 years of Super Bowl success. Definitely. All right, so let's move on.
It's not success. It's not success like Buffalo and Baltimore and all these nearly teams that have had success.
The nearly teams.
And they get crushed every year because every year they think they get crushed every year, man.
Okay,
it's heartbreaking.
Think about what I said about Cincinnati. Cincinnati was in the Super Bowl 4 years ago.
So it's not.
You think point. Okay, but what I'm saying is, had Cincinnati won that game, and now in the 4 years since, have they made the playoffs once? Right?
Yeah, right. But that's the risk you take no matter what.
You're right. You got Right, but what I'm saying is, do you think the Bengals fans would want to have those 4 years of nothing?
Bengals fans have been drinking water out of pipes that are made with lead. Let's get that through their head first.
Okay.
It's not the point. All right. Yeah, of course they would. Everybody wants to win every year.
But you're just giving away 5 years for nothing.
No, I'm not. I'm giving away for 2 freaking Super Bowls.
That's not nothing.
Again, what I'm saying
is Super Bowls.
You're right. So you get 2 Super Bowls in a row.
That's right.
Okay, so that's a 7-year span that you're just going to say, all right, we're going to win twice, and now we have 5 years of nothing.
Yeah,
twice,
right. How many Super Bowls?
You're winning
every. How many Super Bowls are the Browns?
I understand. I understand that. But what I'm saying is, when you get into year 5 of that 7, and you're just sitting there again after 3 years of just bad football, you are going to be depressed.
No, I won't. Because I'll tell you what, I've been there. All right, I've been there. After 91 happened, we went 3-13. When we went, Joe Gibbs's last year was like a 9-7 year, and then we had Richie Pettibone, and it was some of the worst football I've ever seen. And it didn't matter because it was still there. All right, it wasn't until years on that you finally lost it. You know, like around when Sean died. No,
like 07.
Yeah,
07.
Norv even had the team going at times. I mean, Norv was oh dang, I tell you, one time we were 7-2 and I finished 8-8. I don't know how it happened, but god damn it, that's what happened. But you were there 7-2. Oh my god! And then you watch him fall apart and fail. But you still had that. We can do it. We can do
hope.
It.
You had that hope still.
After Sean, go ahead.
Sorry, I was to say, but at least the first 2 years, probably after the 2 Super Bowls that we theoretically won, you're still basking in the afterglow of those 2 Super Bowls.
Oh,
so really, you're only looking at 3 years, really, maybe 2 years, where you're actually down.
What the fuck is this? What are you talking about?
Who's that? Twist. All that money you guys had to do, you really think you improved that much? I have a borderline retirement home. No, it's whether we improved all that much, dude. We were 1 game away from the Super Bowl. We
bolstered one of our weakest position group on the we'll get into I still think we need we still need an edge rusher, but we did help with the run game, and our offensive line is going to be fucking that damn good.
So let's talk about the schedule and why that pays into it. So let's move along to that. So give us the schedule there. I didn't have time to make a graphic. So what's the schedule?
So we got the Giants week 1, 1 o'clock.
Right, we're all going to that. All right, that's an ass kicking. We're gonna kick their ass, right? Now I don't know.
We are already
probably Wilson to start.
Well, I will say I think the Giants are going to be better because they're going to have decent quarterback play, and I really like their defense.
Yeah, but Jesse, given
you think they're going to have decent?
Look at their schedule.
They got the hardest. They have the hardest schedule in the NFL.
I want you to watch.
It's rough.
But we're already 7.5-point favorites in that game, and it's only May. So
I'm going to do my impression of somebody who gives a fuck that the Giants have a tough schedule. I can't. I just can't do it.
Week 2,
I can't even
we
conceive of it.
At Green Bay on a Thursday night.
That's gonna be a good game.
Tony's screen. What do you have on there?
It seems like I've got all the chat.
You got the chat? Oh,
yeah.
okay,
I was
cool.
trying to work out how to get.
You're doing
how
that.
to get rid of that off my screen.
How do I don't know how to get rid of that.
So we've got Green Bay on a Thursday night, which is good because we're avoiding Green Bay in December and we're avoiding Jordan Love during Toyotathon.
Yes.
So
that's right.
If you don't know about that anomaly, look it up.
It's a good time to be playing in Green Bay, so that's not
horrible.
But right there,
I'm absolutely happy that they scheduled us in September in Green Bay and not in December.
Because we can do that game plan the entire offseason. We don't have to rush a game plan here in November.
You've got Scatabo and you've got what's his name up in
Tyrone Tracy.
No. You got Scatabo and Tyrone Tracy, and you've got
Jackson Dart.
I'm talking about the Packers running back.
Oh, Josh Jacobs.
Oh,
Josh Jacobs.
Yeah, Josh Jacobs.
All right. So, and then we
got some running backs that we're going up against. Some really good running backs.
Twice. We've got Scatabo twice.
Our run defense.
Scatabo is not going to be the starter this year.
It's going to be Tyrone Tracy.
About Scatabo.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Spouting a name out here. It's May.
He runs over kids in college. He ain't going to be running over guys in the NFL.
I agree. He's a New York Giant.
I like Scatabo, but I don't like him for anything this year.
No.
Next year, maybe.
Then after Green Bay, we are hosting Vegas.
Okay.
When?
Yeah.
And then going to Atlanta. That is our September.
So there's Bijan Robinson. There's another freaking top running back.
Vegas, too. They got they got a good running back.
Ashton Genty.
Yeah, Genty. Yeah,
they got
Genty.
Another rookie. So
Week
Bijan,
5,
we'll see how he goes.
4:25 kickoff. We're at the Chargers, flying across the country.
They've got.
That's going to be tough. That's a tough game right there.
Yeah, didn't they just draft a running back too?
Omarion Hampton.
Hampton.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then we're back home for Monday night against the Bears, which to me,
that's a tough game.
The Bears are a complete unknown on offense because how good is Ben Johnson?
They are
running the show?
Well, whether they're a complete unknown on offense or not, DeAndre Swift ran for 7 yards a carry against us last year.
Yeah, but how much of that was just that one run?
Well, I'm thinking about it in terms of what Twist was asking about, how we spent our money on the offseason. Dude, do you see the running backs we have to face?
I mean,
we got to stop the run. Whatever. We got to stop the run.
Yeah,
period.
They've not spent the money on pin back your ears edge rushes, but I think they've consciously gone about trying to build a better run defense.
Sorry,
just real quick,
exactly. Jesse, if you look down on the bottom of the screen, I don't know if you can see all 4 of us down there on the bottom, but you look like Floyd the Barber down there. Oh my God. I know y'all don't get it. Y'all don't understand. It's just my old time sense of humor.
I can't. I'm on my phone. I can't see
bad. I'll take a screenshot of this just so Jesse can see what he looks like.
After Chicago, we're at Dallas Sunday 4:25. And then we're from Dallas. We're going to Kansas City for a Monday night. So we have Monday night 4:25 Monday night. Then going back home for a Sunday night game against Seattle. And then another home game against Detroit for a 4:25.
Seattle's got running backs too. There's Jahmyr Gibbs.
After Detroit, we have our Spain game against Miami.
See you there, guys.
Woo! We'll be there.
And then we have a bye week.
Doing my best. So while we're on the bye week, Max, I want to put this up real quick. Yam says, I just hope Medrano can come on quick. I'm tired of Wagner being a liability in the run game. I don't care about 10 sacks. I do care about 10 sacks, Yam, and do not expect Medrano to play any role on the defensive side of the ball anytime soon. I think you're going to want Hampton and McGee to really step up in that role right there. And McGee got hurt early in the season last year. So I think McGee's going to be. I think McGee's going to have that role you're wishing for right there, yeah.
I don't really understand that message because Wagner was never giving you 10 sacks anyway, And last year he was a
No,
liability.
no, I think
in the passing game and not the run game.
Yeah,
let's put
I
Yam's
think
gobbledygook back up on the screen there. By the way, if you're watching us on Twitter right now, come on over here to YouTube and be able to talk some shit with us. We'll put you up.
Wagner's great in the run game when it's up the middle, not on the sides.
Well, he's also pretty damn good when guys aren't fucking spinning out of the backfield and knocking him over, or spinning out of their positions and knocking him over. And letting Saquon Barkley run for a fucking 65-yard touchdown on the first play of the game in the NFC Championship game. That's all I'm gonna say. That guy's a Cowboy now, and that's that. All right.
So
Wagner's in the middle of the field guy. He's not going when they get out on the edges. That's not his game right there, especially at this time of year. I mean, they brought Wagner back. He still led the team in tackles, and I want him on the field 100% of the time, if possible.
All right. So I'm seeing again. Big pattern of running backs here. Miami's Devin O'Shane out in Spain.
After the bye week, we have Denver as a Sunday night game coming off a bye week. We finally get another 1:00 game in December. We're at Minnesota.
Okay.
And then we're at the Giants.
Minnesota's an unknown too. I just don't know, man.
McCarthy and Aaron Jones is going to be 30 years old, so you're approaching that 30-year-old running back.
Well, I mean, it's McCarthy. It's McCarthy. We saw him in the most limited type of window that you can. And I mean, granted, they drafted him to be the guy. He's a first-round pick.
Look at what he did in college. If you look at his skill set at Michigan.
Yeah.
Like, he didn't throw the ball ever. You don't
name me one Michigan quarterback that ever won anything.
I'm sorry, what?
They spent a lot.
I think
interior.
I like McCarthy.
You just don't know if he can really throw the ball.
I don't know what they're going to do. I mean, they've got receivers.
I think he can.
He's got guys that he can work with. That's for sure. So
he's got one of the best quarterback coaches. Kevin O'Connell's what he did with Sam Darnold is nothing short of amazing. And if Kevin O'Connell, sings praises of JJ, then you have to, take his word for it. Look, I mean, they didn't do anything to try to go get another quarterback this year.
No,
they had an opportunity to bring Rodgers in.
They brought in Taylor Heineke, isn't he there?
Yeah.
Or no, Sam Darnold's there.
They had the opportunity.
No.
Yeah.
Our old Sam, the other fucking.
They had the opportunity to get Kirk Cousins, and they didn't. They elected to stick with JJ.
Like, tell him to get down here and pick up his other bags of money and get him the fuck out of here.
He's set up to succeed there because they've invested heavily in the interior offensive line in free agency and the draft. They've got two quality receivers. And they've got TJ Hawkins.
Good tight end.
So you've got,
but they just have a run game. They don't have a run game behind him.
Aaron Jones is Aaron Jones.
Yeah, but he's 30 years old.
I don't care.
They've also invested in 2 new guards and a new center, and they've got 2 good tackles.
Right.
So
30 doesn't mean that he's dead. Okay. That doesn't mean.
Look at the running back position and then tell me that again.
I don't care. All right. Did you see him last year? Was he effective or not?
You're right, but look at the way how running backs at age 30 do this.
Okay, great. I get it. You're playing the odds, but I still say there are guys that can overcome that. And until he shows me otherwise, I'm not going to believe this 30-year-old cliff that healthy guys fall over.
You're just
but this is also why they traded for Jordan Mason as well from San Francisco.
I don't think they care about him. So
what's funny, is
Kevin O'Connell has a thing for guys who have 2 first names. That's a
fact. Cody Barton had a hell of a year last year in Denver.
He just got a nice contract, didn't he, from somewhere else? A nice-ish contract.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He left them, didn't he? $7 million somewhere. He didn't play like that. He didn't play like that for us.
Well, he got hurt very early on in the season. I think he got hurt against Atlanta. But so then we have New York back in the Giants, and then Philly at home, Dallas at home, Philadelphia on the road to end the season.
I hate the end of our season schedule. Absolutely fucking hate it.
Yeah.
We've had this before.
Well, I mean,
I don't mind the 4 divisional games. I don't like the Philly game.
Right.
Like Philly within, 2 fucking weeks of each other. That's just stupid.
It is, especially if it's divisional. I mean, granted, you want to try to get the maximum bang for your buck if you're a schedule maker for TV purposes. But look, if you're going to play divisional games all at the end of the season, like they've been trying to do for the last several years, then they've done a good job of it, where pretty much everybody plays divisional. Then spread out the other games, the early games, spread them out. We got to play the Giants in the first week. Okay. So, give us the Eagles in like week 6 or something like that, or week 8, something like that, where you get a chance to have by week 16, the chances of the teams being totally at strength are nothing. So that when the Commanders go in there and beat their fucking ass, I don't want to hear it like I've been hearing it from Detroit Lions fans all goddamn winter about how, we were so injured. We were so fucking injured that Jared Goff turned the ball over 4 times because our defense was injured. Hey, you want to know some fun facts, Tony?
Yeah.
The last time the Lions won anything, there were 12 teams in the NFL.
With the second Philly game, that's such a marquee NFC matchup now.
I know, right.
That feels really weird to say. That game could not mean nothing. It might not mean anything. So why? Right. I don't understand that, man. I just don't get that fucking game right there.
Yeah,
I think what the schedule makers are kind of crossing their fingers for is that's going to be the game for the number 1 seed in the NFC again. It was the same thing with the Lions and the Vikings.
Maybe, but maybe. Yeah, but last year did they anticipate Sam Darnold turning into fucking Joe Montana for 14?
No, they did not.
No, they didn't.
Yeah.
But I'll be honest, you were right about Kevin O'Connell. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I just said the season never goes the way people think it's gonna. Not very often.
That's true.
All right, so our final game is what date?
Is it like January?
It's the weekend of.
It's the weekend of January. What?
The 9th, I think.
We might steal a win because the Eagles are resting, says Twist.
Where did you get this guy from?
He came from us from Excuses Are Us. Look, he showed right up.
Weekend of the January 4th.
Twist is an old friend. He came in last year, I think before the championship game, was talking some shit with us. He's a good dude, so he's well.
It's the weekend of January 4th.
Wow. All right, so the season ends January 4th. That's interesting. All right, so from a fantasy perspective, honestly, Sam Darnold played so well last year. I did dream about fucking him. We were talking about how amazing it was. So might as well throw that out there.
And he fucked all his managers the last 2 weeks.
He did. He fucked everybody. He sure did, didn't he? All right. So anyway, the Commanders from a fantasy perspective. The elephant in the room, which I do have actually something that I can play for that. Where is it? You know what? It's the off season. I really am not into this right now. So pardon me while I look for it. There we go. The elephant in the room. The sophomore slump. The sophomore slump. Let's start with Tony because he's been so polite and quiet all night long. Go ahead, man. Tell me what your thoughts are on just that phrase in itself and how it pertains to Jaden Daniels.
It's one of these cool, trendy phrases that gets thrown around whenever somebody has a great rookie season, and just this kind of assumption built in that there'll be some kind of sophomore slump. But there's a couple of things, really. One that we can quantify, which is they've significantly strengthened the offensive line to protect him. That's a clear strategy. You can see why they've made that investment. They've, in theory, brought in more weapons with Debo. So, you can quantify that to say he actually has more at his disposal. And the second one is, how the hell does the people who say that or anybody else know how good he's going to be? This kid could be a generational talent. We don't know. I don't know that. But no, neither does anybody else. It's just a hypothetical bullshit, basically.
Oh, okay. Max, go ahead. Oh, sorry, Jesse. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, people. When I hate when people say that. What's his name? Texans quarterback.
Stroud. That's what I was looking at.
Stroud. They're like, Stroud had a sophomore slump, and he didn't really. He actually played pretty fucking good.
They made the playoffs.
Problem with Stroud that his offensive line was not good.
His receivers were annihilated
whatsoever.
Destroyed.
Yeah, so
not just hurt.
So because I actually went and pulled up CJ Stroud's stats because that's who I was going to talk about.
Okay.
So Stroud's rookie year, he had a 64% completion percentage, 4,100 yards, 23 touchdowns to 5 picks, and he was sacked 38 times.
Okay.
Sophomore season, 63% completion percentage, 3,700 yards despite 2 more games played, 20 touchdowns to 12 picks, and 52 sacks. So you look at that as a whole and you go, oh, he stepped back as a sophomore. But also, tougher teams that he had to play, people had film on him, and his offensive line had more holes in it than a piece of Swiss cheese.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, okay, so somebody from my older
and pardon me, didn't he still make the playoffs?
He did make the playoffs.
Exactly.
I can't remember who it was that wrote me. I apologize. But somebody came on laughing at me because I always have said, because whether Tony thinks it's a bunch of bullshit, it's not. It's a real thing, all right? And it has happened to way many quarterbacks in the past.
I will say the most prevalent sophomore slump to think about right now in like modern time, besides Robert Griffin, is Baker Mayfield.
Either way, the point is this. From the times coming up into right now, things are a little bit different. All right. But prior to this, when you saw so many quarterbacks go into a sophomore slump, it's because as a rookie, they didn't come in pro ready like they do now. All right. They really didn't. And when you went and started as a rookie, you started with a stripped down playbook most of the time. You started doing things that were not going to be asked of you the next year. And usually what was asked the next year was exponentially larger. And yes, they did have film on it. All right. The difference now is that they're playing a lot more pro-ready football in college. They're coming in way more prepared. Jaden Daniels specifically, number one, he's on my favorite team, and that means fuck everything else I've ever said. No sophomore slump. And number two, look, it's the VR and the AI that really, I think, sets it apart because he does so much work in that regard. And it's not just all right, we play video games. All right, we all play video games, and they can be very intense and very in-depth. But if you figure out the pattern, okay, I can beat the boss if I run this way, do this way, and do that. If I shoot this guy first or whatever, okay? But with what he's doing, now there's no book. That's the thing, Twist. There's no fucking book. I'm gonna explain.
No, the book is out. It's just nobody can fucking read it.
Right.
And then he's trying to say about Vic Fangio. It wasn't wasn't Fangio that fucking did anything to Jaden. Fucking, we fumbled. His fucking team let him down. Fuck off. God, Eagles fans drive me up the fucking wall.
Well, he just doesn't know. And I'm explaining it to him right now. So, Twist, for the rest of your life, when you sit down one day in about 50 years, I'm going to tell you about the time John Taman taught me all about how Jaden Daniels was really setting the pace. He wears this freaking this VR headset, right? But the way that it's set up is it's already set up with a ton of information about your defense, how your defense reacts, and then the AI uses the tendencies of Vic Fangio or of the other defenses to react to what he does as he runs through this simulated game, which he does at 1.5 times the regular speed of a human being. He can take 500 more reps against your defense before the game even starts. So the film you have on him is of him already figuring you out, and now you got to outsmart yourself to try to understand what you can do to stop it. So that's why
people that say this just don't fucking watch. They just don't fucking watch. Like, seriously. Seriously.
I swear to God. You know, Twist, I would recommend to you to climb up a light pole, but it's proven to be dangerous to people in Philadelphia.
The people that have nightmares of Jordan Davis were people in the car with him.
All right. Well, I'll tell you what. I do have a poll that I'm running right now. It is the Pulse. We're running the Pulse, the Bleeding Burgundy podcast Pulse. We need some Pulse music. What can we do for the Pulse? Here, we'll use this. All right, the Bleeding Burgundy podcast taking the pulse of the fans this week. What is more disgusting? Ready? What is more disgusting? Finding a turd on your sandwich?
Jesus Christ.
Or the New York Giants. Oh, wait a minute. The New York Giants. And right now, we have This poll is running right now on my Twitter feed. If you want to go over there and take a vote for it, there you go. You can vote whether it's more disgusting to find a turd on your sandwich, twist, think about it before you vote, or the New York Giants. And right now, the current voting stands at 15.2% of the people would actually prefer a turd on their sandwich to the fucking New York Giants. What is the matter with America? I would expect 100% of the people would know that the New York Giants are one of the most disgusting substances on the planet. Right?
Definitely.
Okay, great. Oh, hell yeah. Wait, we got to open the music to end here. All right. Boy, I tell you, this almost played out just right. We eat horse poop. Fuck the Giants. Right. And I agree. Eat your horse poop and fuck the Giants. Anyway. What have we got left for today? Have we got anything left that we wanted to talk about today? We're talking about it from a fantasy perspective, right? I'm thinking Jaden Daniels should have another banner season. He's got more weapons. He's got more protection.
Oh, we're talking fantasy? I'll do this after.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think drafting Jaden Daniels is not a bad way to go in your fantasy leagues for a quarterback.
Our weakest position in terms of fantasy is our running back.
Yep. Maybe not.
And it's still, don't talk about Krosky Merritt. Let's.
I love me some Bilbo. Let me tell you what I am drinking the Kool-Aid.
Put that on. People need to pump the brakes on that.
Hell no, man.
Period.
I'm all in for Bill.
He's a 7th round pick that might not even make the freaking team.
Get out of here.
He's still used to Trey Quinn.
What are you talking about? Sorry.
No. Yeah.
For
those, I like the kid. But
he's
taking
the spot. Him and Austin Eckler are eyeing each other. Nah, he's making the squad for sure. And I definitely think that there's some high hopes that can be for him. And I do think that for the thing that gives me the most pause is the level of competition that he's faced. But the year off, all right, the year off of wear and tear on his body as a running back to me is a very big positive. And if he can bring it to this level, oh hell yeah, man.
Did you see him in the East-West Shrine Bowl?
Dude was amazing.
Yeah.
I believe in him. I'm all in for Bill. That's right.
Obviously, Terry McLaurin is someone you definitely want to target. I'm looking at him just over 1,000 yards and probably 8 touchdowns, 9 touchdowns. Don't think he's going to go off to the 13 like he did last year. I think that was
1,210.
He hasn't sniffed 1,200 fucking. Where we get these 1,200 yards from?
Well, we're getting better.
Come on now.
We're getting better.
Come on now.
He's got somebody to take the heat off.
In 22, he had 1191. So
yeah,
that was his high. That was his highest output.
That's his highest. You're right. But you're saying he's never sniffed 1,200. So I'm going to just tell you, hey.
Sniffing is like getting 5 yards away. Thank you very much.
He was
9 yards. What a ball!
The whole 9 yards, Max. The whole 9 yards.
So he's gonna do what he does. He's gonna get his 1,000 yards, probably a little bit over. I'd say pushing 1,100, and probably get in between 8 and 10 touchdowns max. Because you're going to have a lot. Listen, Deebo Samuel is going to play a big part in this, big role in this offense.
Deebo, in my mind, is a better fantasy option than Terry McLaurin this year.
I think you're right too about that. Wow. I absolutely do. He's going to get those short yardage slants that have gone to Terry in the past, but not only in the pass game, but also in the run game as well.
Those little tunnel screens that they were running last year.
But you're not going to be able to throw it because you know what Terry can do better than any receiver on our roster is block. So now you're going to give Deebo that ball and you're going to give Terry the opportunity to block.
That's wasted.
Well, Terry's the Athletics number 14 receiver in fantasy, and Deebo's 39. So there's quite a big discrepancy in what they're saying in the preseason projections, but obviously that can change.
I don't think they really know what they don't have. They're kind of hedging because they don't know what Deebo's role is going to be. Here.
Also, with Deebo, he's been hurt so much that you can't really bank on him to be that guy.
No, that's fair.
I could see 7+ touchdowns out of him this year.
I was just going to go back briefly to Jaden for a second there. I just wondered whether I mean, what did he rush for last year? About 900 yards, somewhere like that. 890.
Yeah, it was like 831 or something like that. 831.
Yeah. I just wonder with a better offensive line, does that mean he's going to run more or less?
I think he's going to run less. I really, really do. I think Brian Robinson is going to have a bigger year than most fans are thinking about with the better offensive line. And also with Deebo Samuel, taking, a few carries a game, that's going to help as well. But I think they're going to want to limit, I don't see no more than 700 yards. I don't want Jaden to run no more than 700 yards. I think if he does anything more than that, I think it's probably going to be a little bit too much.
But I think he will. I don't know that he'll run more. Go ahead.
So for me, I always would just compare Jaden to Lamar. It's the natural comparison.
I mean, yeah, but there's no point. I don't think
Jaden can throw the ball better than Lamar.
The only reason I take that comparison is to say that leopards don't change their spots. If he can do it, he's going to do it.
What I'm saying is it's the proven method as to how that works for that type of quarterback.
Honestly, I think that he's already shown the poise to be able to take the ball and pass downfield when he sees the opening, or pull it down and run when he thinks he can get more. But he's not going to take a run when he can get it downfield. I think that's the thing that is the key. So, but I think that if he has the opportunities to run, if he sees the holes there to run and he doesn't see something better downfield, that's in his nature, man. It's part of his game. And yeah, I think he's going to run. And I don't want him to be the leading rusher on the team next year by any means. I just think that, Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt can rush for, 1,600 yards and 12 touchdowns.
Alfred Morris.
Yeah. Why not?
He's not even going to address this season. I'd put money on that.
Get out of go on with you.
What was that? What was Alfred Morris? A six round draft pick?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
He was drafted.
But we didn't have an Austin Eckler or a Brian Robinson on.
Hey, we had a Roy Halou and a Tim Hightower. Come on now.
We did. We had Tim Hightower.
Tim Hightower had spaghetti that off season, and Roy Halou still has the team record for catches in a game. By the way,
it was like 13, 17 or something.
14.
For what?
14, yeah.
For team catches in a game, Roy Halou still has the team record.
Yeah.
But to Jesse's point, though, that they don't want to put Jaden in harm's way necessarily, which I agree with.
Right.
But I just thought with in theory, a better offensive line, would they even think about scheming him up a couple more runs now?
That's what I was going to go with
I think
Lamar talk.
I think that they will just to make the defense respect it. You don't have to.
He's going to get some runs a game. And listen, the film's out there. They have to respect it. And they're going to see him. He's going to run, but any more? No, I don't. I think it will be less.
So that was what I was kind of getting at with Lamar. Is his second year, he had 176 carries for 1,200 yards.
I don't want to see that.
I definitely could. Them trying to, because why are you going to take the ball out of the hands of your best athlete?
Because your best athlete can get it in the hands of other good athletes on the team.
Further
more efficiently to be able to protect himself.
You're right. Yeah, but you know how one way to get a linebacker to creep up is to run a QB draw every once in a while.
Oh, I'm sure he's still going to run. I'm not saying he's not going to run. He's just not going to run as much.
I think you're probably right, but I
don't think he's going to need to.
No, but whether the runs will be more designed rather than scrambles, because obviously last year if he didn't see something he liked, he would take off. Whereas this year, if you have a better offensive line, you've also got to bear in mind that I suppose Cliff Kingsbury are going to be looking at new wrinkles, new ways to try and keep one step ahead of the competition, because, like we've said, they have film on him. They're going to look at his tendencies. Okay, well, if you've got a better offensive line, you can scheme up 3 or 4 design runs a game for him. That might be another wrinkle.
I mean, I think they did that last year. They did scheme up some runs for him last year. At least about 3 to 4 a game.
Yeah. Right. What I'm saying is you can scheme them up and not do it nearly as often. If not, maybe not 3 or 4 times a game. You do it 3 or 4 times in the first 4 games. You make defenses respect it. You make them think, oh shit, they might actually do that with him now. Don't take it off the table, and don't try to change him from being what he is. That's what I would think, and I don't think he's going to change his game. So, but I think that there's a lot more ways that he can get rid of the ball now. He's got a lot more dynamic pass catchers. not necessarily downfield, but in so many different ways that they can create a lot of misdirection, that they can create they got guys that can take handoffs from anywhere. Really, they can take pitches. They can take. We got so many things that are open to Cliff Kingsbury right now. He's standing at a smorgasbord. Just we
haven't even talked about the tight end position. I mean, look what he was to Ertz was to Daniels last year. I mean, that was his blanket. And then you have hopefully the emergence of Ben Sinnott getting a little bit more, time. Because they needed a fucking blocking tight end, and that's what Bates is. He's good for like 2 catches a season, but he'll block his ass off. But I think Ertz is going to have a big role again this or this season, and I do believe Sinnott will have more of a role. I just don't think it's going to be nowhere near as Ertz, but I think Sinnott will have a role, and then you have not only with Debo, but you have your third receiver Noah Brown, and then McCaffrey's going to be better than he was last year too. So there's outlets everywhere for Jaden. I think our wide receiver room is better than a lot of people give it credit for.
Hell yeah.
Especially with the addition of Debo. I know John wasn't big on Noah Brown, but I think he's a great, wide receiver 3.
Great.
Okay, but your receivers.
I'll remind you, he wants Eli Manning to go in the Hall of Fame.
If you're going to focus on those receivers, though, your DBs are just going to drop back and play umbrella coverages. The way to beat that umbrella coverage and to get them to come back down is to have an effective run game.
Right.
And if
our best runner we got Ja'Cory Krusky-Merritt. I mean, shit.
If our best player is number 5, we're not you have to have him run the ball occasionally, not more than often, but more than he did to get the respect of the defense to come down.
What you need.
I mean, we still have running backs though. Brian Robinson and Austin
tell me
Eckler.
That Brian Robinson or Austin Eckler are a better rusher than Jaden Daniels. You're just playing wrong.
Well, no,
it's a wholly
but they're going to run the ball more than Jaden Daniels.
Yes, they will.
I get that, but what I'm saying is your best rusher is number 5. Sure. Put the ball in number 5's hands and let him make a play with the ball
and get him beat up. Let's
Jesse.
Not do that all the time. I mean,
bigger than Lamar Jackson.
We're acting like
Lamar Jackson doesn't get hurt.
Lamar Jackson's had 2 knee injuries, hasn't he?
No, he's not.
He's had at least one.
He's not bigger than Lamar.
He is 6'4", Lamar is 6'2", 205. Thank you.
That's great. That doesn't mean a fucking thing on all candor.
Put them next to each other. You see how much more fucking meaty Lamar is than
it doesn't
Jay.
Fucking matter. I had this discussion with some guy out there on social media a couple of days ago. You mark my words, Jaden's going to get it. He's going to get hurt. You know what? That's like predicting to me that the fucking ocean is wet, you stupid motherfucker. 61 goddamn quarterbacks took a snap last year. No, excuse me, 66 took a snap last year, started a game. There's 32 teams. Do the fucking math. The year before that, there was 71. Do the math. Quarterbacks get hurt. It's unavoidable. It's a fucking inevitability. Whether he's in the pocket, running around, it doesn't matter. The chances are he's going to fucking get hurt within the next 2 years. It's just the way that the goddamn league works. And if you're going to play,
the percentages do get less the less you get hit.
Well,
but that doesn't. Maybe it's a fact. You don't get hit.
Well, yeah, of course, but you can get hit anywhere. And if you're going to sit here and tell me that you're going to play numbers games about what's better, who look at this, look at the numbers of this, numbers of that, then you got to look at that.
We're arguing over like 2 carries a game.
I get it. So the point being,
like seriously,
you can't protect the quarterback, and that's Roger Goodell. Jesus Christ. There's guys out there playing football that are bigger than that guy Scouts that was in front of you. And you know it. And you're still trying to protect these quarterbacks. They can't do it. And that's all there is to it. Tony, you've been so silent. What do you think?
No, I was just going to say with Jaden Daniels going back to LSU, you saw the number of hits he took at LSU, but some players, for whatever reason, seem to have the ability to absorb hits better. Jaden seems to have that kind of like rubberman quality where the way the pliability, that's going to change when he gets older, maybe. But the pliability that he seems to have, was it the Tampa Bay game, the wild card, where he stood in the pocket and he threw the ball and somebody fell on his knee?
Yeah,
and we all went,
oh, I did.
But his whole kind of side seemed to sort of just like cave as well, and maybe. And I'm not touching wood all around me here, but
it's
Everybody's got a bullet.
Football.
Everybody's got a bullet with their name on it somewhere,
right? And in the NFL, it's going to hit them at least once. It's just
I'll just put this out for example. That long run at Carolina, when he got that tackle, it didn't look like anything. You know, it looked like it was he just rolled, and he was out for a game and a half.
He got Constantine up, didn't he? He got pushed together.
So you never know. So I personally think they'll try to err on the side of caution and limit some of the try to protect him as much as they can without trying to hinder his talents. Because he can still throw the ball. He's a great passer.
Well,
I don't.
If you're going to survive in the NFL, you're going to eventually learn how to learn how to play in the pocket. And there's very few exceptions to that.
And he has. Yeah, we're acting like he can't play in the pocket.
Did Jesse just go through puberty right there? I'm sorry.
What? He has. All right. Well, you know what?
We're acting like he
can. But
people act like he looks to run, and he doesn't. He looks to pass.
Yeah.
And if it's not there, then he runs, and that's fine.
Right. And that's what he'll do. That's what he'll do.
Yeah.
All right. He's just got to be sensible because he took fewer hits last year than he did in his last year at LSU, where he was getting smashed all over the place.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously Dan Quinn spoke to him early on because he said he did, and he didn't throw himself into quite as many dicey situations as before.
The Giants game we were all at, right?
Exactly,
where he got folded up a little bit, and that guy got him up under the ribs, and he found out right then and there because I think he tried to muscle his way into that, and he took that shot, and we were all holding our breath. That was pretty bad. All right, so I'm going to shift gears here because we are getting on in time, and I want to make sure that everybody's heard the wonderful and wild-ass news that we do have a new website, bleedingburgundy.com, of which I can't believe was wide open as a domain name, but we got it. So bleedingburgundy.com, please. Stop by over there. It's a work in progress. So, don't mind our dust right now. We're still putting up some content. We've still got to keep writing content, and then it'll start to thick out a little bit. And you're going to get things from the perspective of us. So you're going to get piss poor English out of Jesse, which is great. You're going to get
piss poor.
whatever the hell I'm
piss
thinking
poor.
about it.
Piss poor.
Piss poor. No, there's
piss poor.
We've got all the tools that we can muster to keep the everything just running smoothly over there. And we invite you all to come over and enjoy it. Tony, you've written a couple of articles. What do you think?
I mean, who are you calling tools then, by the way?
Am I calling everyone tools?
Oh, no. Are we the tools?
We have all the tools that we need.
Well, no, we don't have it.
We have all the.
Yes, we do.
I think I've been recruited under full circumstances here. Hey, no, look, it's good to have different opinions. I think, you see Jesse's article. Jesse comes on and tells you exactly how it is. So I think that's the same with everybody on here. We're just going to tell it as it is. It might not be journalistically sound, but
no.
And you know what?
Who cares?
It might not even be the most. I hate to use the word accurate, but we're fans. All right. So I'm going to write about things that I see as a fan. This coming season, I'll write about things that I saw during the game, whether that means anything or not. You got other podcasts where you can go watch guys that actually really can break down film and show you the intricacies of why this guy's shoelace came untied on 3rd and 6. I'm going to write, whatever the hell I feel like. I think the first thing I'm going to do is touch on some history here in the summer. And
I want to see this.
Yeah, I want to write about some things that have, the past of the team. And there's a lot of things that new fans should read on, or at least try to find on YouTube, because I know reading is not things that anybody likes to do anymore. Max is
one thing
write an email, but he's yet to write anything.
Yeah, you need to get on that, Max. God damn it, we're gonna fucking Dr. K.
You're right. I've been done for 3 days.
That's right.
One good, what fun thing that I'm looking forward to in during this season is I'm going to do an article or kind of like a blog during home games. Kind of the feel, the quiet, the emotions of the game. How there's ebbs and flows of the first quarter, what the stadium is like. How the stadium is feeling during critical moments of the game, and
for the whole game.
Yes, that does.
Right.
But I can still hear the crowd when I'm walking out to my car. So,
Jesse listens to the game on radio. I'm not sure what really pissed over there.
I don't know. I do traffic.
Yes, I do plan on staying for all the games. I mean, unless we're getting our ass kicked, that's just not gonna happen. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it, man, because when you go to live game, not everybody's able to go to a game, and it's a different feel than when you're watching it on TV. Now you get to see a lot more on TV. Replays and stuff like that. Yeah, they show some replays on the stadium, but it's not like sitting at home. But there's the emotional part of the game because you're sitting there with other fans too. So, and you guys are you're feeling the same thing. You're feeling the same emotions, the super highs and the real lows. And I'm just going to put pen to paper about it.
Yeah, that sounds good. I'm looking forward to that kind of stuff. And for all of you that are, remember the old podcast and stuff like this, having this website will give me an opportunity to do some fun shit that you all remember. I won't have time to do cartoons, not just yet, but I will give you a little teaser coming up this summer. We might just have our old friend Tom on for an episode for some fun. I tell you what, the website to me is an exciting thing. It's taken a while to build it, but I think we finally got it into a situation where we like what we're getting. And yeah, man, stop on through, take a look at it. Eventually we'll have some merchandise up for you. You can write to us at Bleeding Burgundy Podcast at gmail.com.
Yeah.
There you go. Bleeding Burgundy Podcast at gmail.com. Write to us. Tell us your thoughts. Let us know how you're feeling out there or anything. Really, we've got some emails that I want to read today. So let me get some email music in here. Hang on a second. Let me see what I got. We'll try John's Brothel. Yeah. Oof.
Oh yeah. Oh baby.
At gmail.com. Let's see. I got to make this bigger so I can read it. Dear Bleeding Burgundy Podcast, I just can't believe how much of a bitch Samantha is to Brad. Seriously, he could do a lot better. And if she isn't careful, Vanessa will be riding that horse till dawn. She better not even mess around. Don't even let LaShonda find out. She already don't like Samantha for what went down with little Dominic. We all know why she acts like that. Don't be playing. Watching too much television. Robert Griffin III. Robert checking in there. That's nice. Let's see. Now I got to exit full screen to get back to my thing here. I pay enough money for this. It could work better, don't you think? All right. Email number 2. It should work better. Email number 2. Let's see. Subject: great news. Dear Bleeding Burgundy Podcast, can you believe they gave me all that cash? Holy shit. You know what the first thing I'm going to buy? A t-shirt that says, "No, I am not here to sell you insurance." And then on the back, "I'm Brock fucking Purdy." Fuck yes. Fuck yeah! Sincerely, Brock fucking Purdy! Fuck yeah!
Y'all think he got paid too much?
Dude,
they all get paid too much. Jesus.
Yeah,
okay, but him.
Games. He's whatever. They can plug anybody in there, but they plugged him in, and he's done it just fine. So, yeah, he got exactly what he's worth, I suppose. All right, let's see. Our third email of the day. All right, let's see here. Dear guys, it isn't fair. I mean, look at it. It's just gross. They just group up there and push the quarterback's butt. And frankly, mister, that is against everything that we, the good people of Wisconsin, stand for. They just grunt and thrust and shove their little green, greasy butts around like sumo wrestlers, and then they get a first down. We don't like it. This is 2025, and this is goddamned America. If we don't like something, it has to stop, or we will cry endlessly. Make it stop. Sincerely, the Green Bay Packers. So,
yes, Jim, I agree. I don't know why that's on there. You have to ask John about that.
What's it say? What are you talking about?
There's some lorem ipsum stuff at the bottom of the website.
At the bottom of the website? Oh, it's because it's still there. That's why it's on there. Like I said, pardon our dust means don't fucking come telling me about it. Oh, God damn it. I'll get on it. Jesus Christ, I got enough to do.
All right, 2 more minutes. We didn't talk about the tush push.
Right, tush push. I don't want to ban.
I do.
Okay.
Or at least okay. I want to stop the illegalities of the play itself.
Yeah, line it up right.
Being offside, too many fucking players on the line, all that stuff. And if you do that, then it won't be as successful either. But there is a penalty. They committing fouls before the ball is even snapped every fucking time that they do it.
Tony, what do you think?
Well, as much as I hate the Eagles, I do tend to think that they're going about just penalising one team because they're good at a particular play. So I don't really like that. I listening to Athletic Football Show.
It's a rugby play, anyways. Like, let's be honest.
Yeah, they were saying why don't you just let it organically die? Because once this monster Philly offensive line goes away in the next 4 or 5 years, and Jalen Hurts, the thing's probably going to go away anyway. Because the other 31 teams don't do it anywhere near as well as the Eagles do it. The Bills do it reasonably, although not in the AFC Championship game. So just let it naturally wither and die, which it will do eventually. So I don't think you should legislate something out of the game just because one team does it better than everybody else. Although at the same time, this idea now, the pre-2004 thing where you couldn't push or pull anybody.
Right. That's where
I think that would. There's a certain amount of sense in that because you don't just see it on the tush push. You see it now every time a running back gets held up anywhere down the field. The whole line comes flying
Brian Robinson
behind
makes good use of that.
Yeah, exactly. And starts pushing him back. So I think that should be got rid of. And if they can bundle it all in together and it happens to piss the Eagles off, then okay. But I'm not very comfortable with just legislating a play out of a game just because one team's better than everybody else at it.
Max, what do you think?
Go ahead, Max.
So
I'll take after.
I don't necessarily mind the running back aspect down the field. I don't like I was talking about this with a guy at work today. We were in the car for 7 hours. But I think what you can do to legislate it is as long as it's not immediately after the snap, you should be able to push your teammates. Pulling, I don't think you should ever be able to do. But if you're going to push them, if it's down the field, I don't see a problem with it. But if it's immediately at the snap, that's where I have an issue.
Okay.
The taking the Eagles, the hate against the Eagles aside, I still think when they do it back to back, they do it on second down, they do it on third down. If they don't even make it on third down, they'll do it again on fourth down. It fucks the pace of play up as well. So there's that aspect of it that people are also complaining about, which I 100% agree with. I mean, they could essentially do that play 4 times and get a first down. It's not a football play.
Well, here's the thing that I say about that, for one, is that when football was born, it sure as fuck was. It was majority of the plays. Whether it's a rugby play or not, it is a primal football play. It's a strength test. Okay, and you've heard me say on this show, make it fair, let the defense push each other from behind. And I will say this. I had this discussion with somebody this week.
Or make them line up correctly.
Well, okay, I was told, because I said that the defense is not allowed to push from behind. This fella, Noland, came up, told me I'm wrong. Specifically, Rule 12, Section 1, Article 6, defensive holding, and Rule 12, Section 2, unsportsmanlike conduct, provide guidelines on illegal and illegal contact. These sections allow defenders to engage in contact, including pushing or leveraging teammates. Bottom line, what it is that the defense is held to the standards that they use on field goal kicking, which is you're not allowed to leverage off your teammates like that. So the defense is constantly trying to stop 7 guys with, that are all shoving one guy with one guy on one guy, if you follow what I'm saying. When you can put 350 pounds of people behind the quarterback and just shove him forward, that's where it's becoming unbalanced. So when you say call it right, that's what I say. If the fucking linebacker go up and start shoving the defensive tackles, that's legal. Okay, that is part of the rules. Call a flag on that shit. This dude, Noland, will set you straight. Specific. Go to the video. Rule 12, Section 1, Article 6. Video.
Yeah, there's a suggestion that even if you ban the tush push in terms of pushing the ball carrier, the workaround is that you push the guards in the center. You get somebody in front of the guard, in front of the running back or the ball carrier or Jalen Hurts, and that actually then makes it a rugby play because you hear all the NFL commentators talking about how it's a rugby scrum. Well, it's not a scrum actually in rugby. The closest thing is actually a maul, and what they do in a maul is they get the ball to the very back and they get the bodies in front of the ball, and then everybody pushes. They're not pushing the ball carrier because the ball carrier is in a little pouch at the back. Everybody else is in front of them and driving. So that's the workaround if you ban the tush push.
So the ball carrier is like a testicle, and it's behind everything else that's doing all the thrusting.
Yeah, basically,
in a pouch. Okay,
I'm with
Twiz on this point. I don't think it's about safety at all. I really don't. I can't remember anybody getting hurt on even as many running backs. Get pushed in. Picked up by their offensive linemen when they're like 2 yards away. I don't really see that. My big issue is just with the formation of it, because it's illegal formation every time that they do it again. I mean, you can put every replay up and there's a illegal formation every fucking time.
Most injuries happen on the football field due to contact, whether it's from a bad angle or a hard contact. When you get guys together shoving and pushing like that, man, they're not going to. I have not really seen any uptick in injuries.
Yeah. I guess
I don't think safety is a concern.
I guess you could, get leg tangled up or something like that, but we haven't seen that though. At least I've never seen it.
Anything can happen.
There's no data,
for Christ's sakes. Look, here's the thing. Okay, you ban that, then what? Okay, then the quarterback just dives over. It's fourth and less than a yard usually when they're doing this shit. They're not doing this for 5 yards. All right, it's fourth and less than a yard. Tom Brady.
No, they've done it. They've done it 4th and 4. They have done it when it's all
whatever.
out.
Those are minimal. I mean, you're pulling cherry picking like that. What I'm talking about is the 90% of the time what they're doing is very short yardage. Tom Brady, Mr. fucking Gork himself, who couldn't run to save his life, he was unstoppable on those plays, man. Because he would just find the little gap next to the tackle or next to the guard and dive. And he made it all the time.
Right,
so
it was legal though.
It doesn't matter. Oh yeah, I get it, and that's what I'm saying. But I don't want to ban the play just because, like Tony said, just because they're good at it. Stop it. All right, we've stopped it. We've made them fumble on the goal line when they were doing it. Well, we didn't make them fumble. Fucking Jalen Hurts and his goddamn KY jelly all over his fingers made them fumble. And with that, we're going to say goodnight. Burgundy podcast, which I think should be 2 weeks from now and on a Tuesday, and we'll find something in June to talk about. Just think about that. Jalen Hurts with KY on his fingers. Until then.
Next time I will try to get Lake Lewis on the show with us. He owes me.
That'll be good. We can ask
about 30 minutes
whether he likes the KY or if he's an Astroglide man. No, you know what? We promised Lake that if he came on the show, I would behave, and I think I've done a rather good job. Tony, have you felt like I've been out of line today?
Not at all. I felt no more intimidated than usual.
There you go. I'm not going to intimidate anyone, for Pete's sake. All right. Anyway, so in 2 weeks we'll be back. Please check out the website bleedingburgundy.com. Read the things that we put up there, man. If it strikes you, I'm going to inject some humor in it. Tony's put up some great stuff right off the bat about the schedule from the European perspective, and really with the international games coming on as hard as they are, we're going to like having our embedded reporters. How about that? The Bleeding Burgundy embedded guys up there.
Sleep's overrated.
There it is. Sleep's overrated. So we're going to send Tony to bed, and we'll talk to y'all next time. Later.